Having a look at the live chat comments as always. Talia Jones on saying, whatever happens today, Alfie, you've had a fantastic season. Good luck for the A final. That'll be for Alfie Forrester. Honda Cadet then are in the background. It will definitely be Thomas Potter on pole position. He's got 101 points from his heat. So that's going to put him right at the front then for our Honda Cadet A final. Alongside him on the front row, grid-wise on this one, it looks like I might have to put my skills to test because the timing isn't updating, hence why you got the grid from the last race rather than the one that's coming up on the screen there, because it ties into the timing. So we are having a little bit of a technical issue on that at the moment. Looks like they could just be having a refresh. It will be Thomas Potter there on pole position with Stanley Clark alongside on that front row. This championship, whilst already being tied up by Harris Roberts, who we'll see in the Minimax final in about 20 minutes time, still has a battle going on for second down to sixth in the championship. They came into this one with James Fabricius in second place in front of Larry Price, Thomas Potter, Harris Alley and Amy Peacock. So we'll be able to update at the end of this race where everybody has finished in their championship battle, in terms of points, of course. Here we go then for our Honda Cadet A final. It's Potter and Stanley Clark on the front row. Then it's going to be Jensen White and Ralphie Branscombe on the second row with James Fabricius and Tom Drake on row three. Oh, we've got off on the start as Branscombe tries to warm his tyres up. He's gone off down there into the wall for Ralphie Branscombe. He's going to have to wait for the entire field to come through. And Ralphie Branscombe, who was in fourth place, rejoins the field, but have that car having gone end-to-end into the tyre wall. I wonder whether there's any pushing on that front fairing even before the race begins. A spin as well further down for Sebastian Bierman as the drivers try, somewhat too hard in a couple of cases, to get their tyres nice and warm, ready for the start of this race. Round they come then. Potter from Stanley Clark, then Jensen White will be in third place. Ralphie Branscombe should be fourth. The gap there will be for him to come through and into position, so hopefully he can make his way through. They should leave a gap for him. Everybody else rolls themselves nicely into position. We wait Branscombe. He should be able to come round the outside and slot into that position. In fact, he's going down the middle of the tram line. There he is in the 96 car. Drops into second place. And that he'll be rolled back into position in that 96. "28 carts then. Looks like we're just going to make sure everyone's in the right position as they head down towards the tail end. Lewis Hall seems to be so it's Cameron Tipping's a little bit too far forward, as is Sam Hayes as well. And looks like that they were expecting those drivers in front to go a little bit further back. They're just going to be repositioned and pushed back as the crowds here gather up there on the viewing gantry. Red light, then green. We cut to the race and we're away and racing here in this Honda Cadet A final. It's a good start from everybody as they make the run down. Potter over the curbs on the inside. We've got one driver going very, very wide round the outside. We'll try and find out who that is in a moment's time. So they make their way down. Looks like everybody, though, still running. So whoever went wide could have been Maxie Lewis. He's dropped down to the tail of the field. Isabella Stansmore-Wilson is well out of place as well, having qualified inside the top 20. She's now down towards 25th place. So could well have been her. As Max Wheatley tries to go down the inside there, we see Joshua Sullivan. That's not going to work and he slots back in, but then we'll have an opportunity at the next corner. Potter leads from Stanley Clark and Jensen White. That's your top three. Ralphie Branscombe, George Ralston, Jack Collinson, Alex Lynn. Then it's the 91 of Fabricius, Tom Drake. As Fabricius goes down the inside of Alex Lynn, Max Williams does the exact same to Ayrton Rye as well. Timing is back with us. And Ayrton Rye, that Nauseo panel wobbling from side to side. Probably not going to involve that driver coming into the pit lane, but certainly not going to do the eyesight any good as that wobbles around in front. And then the hard on the brakes down there into Alan Woes. Max Greatrex goes very, very wide. As Harris Ali starts making his way through the field. Potter from Clark at the front of this final. We're only a minute in, of course, as Greatrex makes another move down the inside into the final corner at Alan Wones before that, the official final corner, which is unnamed here. We'll call it the Alpha Live turn. I think we might as well get some coverage down there. Potter from Clark and White, the top three. The gap half a second. The top five have broken away ever so slightly with Ralphie Branscombe and George Ralston in front of Jack Collinson, James Fabricius, Alex Lynn, Tom Drake and Max Williams. That's your top 10. Contact in the bit of background there we saw between Collinson and Fabricius. They've managed to ride that one out though. No harm done between the two of them. Potter, who'd opened up a gap of around about half a second, has had that one reeled in by by Stanley Clark and Jensen White, with Branscombe and Ralston coming along as well. Plenty of time in this one. We're only at a quarter race distance, 9 minutes remaining of this 12-minute final. Potter's opened up a bit more of a gap, seems to be strong. Round O'Ross's in Clinton's and then down towards Barney's. Clark, however, seems to be very strong round this final complex of corners and really does close up. Not sure whether this game of tit for tat in terms of where they're strong on the track is going to benefit either of them, because neither can pull away from White. And then Branscombe down the inside of Jensen White into the Degner 1 hairpin to begin the lap. That moves him up into third place. Is there anything he can do now about Stanley Clark? Branscombe, who's won a race already today. Heat number 3 in Honda Cadet. Race that was Battenberg halfway through and then red flagged, and then he had to come back and win it again effectively, did Ralphie Branscombe. Potter then, is there anything that Clark can do? Branscombe close enough to push Clark here, and Branscombe's got a good run down the inside of Stanley Clark. Clark tries to close the door and defend. Branscombe is through though. Clark will try and get the cut back and make his way through, but I don't think he can. Look over the shoulder once again from Thomas Potter. This time he sees it's Ralphie Branscombe, not Stanley Clark, right on the back of him. We know Branscombe is strong down the start-finish straight, so he can make that move into that first corner, as he has done on a number of occasions already, to get past Jensen White, to get past Stanley Clark. Can he do it on Thomas Potter? right in the slipstream, moves to the inside for Ralphie Branscombe, and he is going to go through and into the lead. Potter, though, will get the cut back to the inside. Branscombe will run him a little bit tight. Potter, though, back through into the lead, so Branscombe's lead lasting about 4 or 5 seconds. Tries the same move, though, down the inside into Holmes, and Ralphie Branscombe's through, and this time he makes it stick. Ralphie Branscombe leads from Thomas Potter, Stanley Clark and Jensen White, with George Ralston there as well in 5th place. Behind them, though, James Fabricius, who's managed to find a way in the last few laps past Jack Collinson. He's up into 6th, and right there on the back now of George Ralston with Collinson. Then it's Lynn, Tom Drake, Max Williams, Sullivan, Peacock, Wheatley, Rye, Lawn, then Price, Samuel, Hayes, Greatrex and Ali. Branscombe leads from Thomas Potter. Potter, who's led from the start of this race until that last lap when Branscombe managed to find a way through. Now Branscombe is actually starting to, so the places that he needs it is starting to open up a cart width or two. Fabricius on the brakes down the inside of Ralston. Ralston's going to run Fabricius wide, but Fabricius, despite overcooking it ever so slightly, manages to come back in and go. So yeah, missed the apex, but then had enough to be run round the outside and hold now 5th place, does James Fabricius. And the battle behind then now, I think sees, that's the battle for 8th we caught the back of, with Lynn, Drake and Williams all nose to tail. Down the middle straight they go, head behind the steering wheel for Jensen White. Heading towards 4.5 minutes, so we're going to be beyond half race distance quite comfortably. Branscombe, though, coming under pressure from Thomas Potter now. Potter closing right back in on the back of Ralphie Branscombe, with Stanley Clark in 3rd place. They've broken away ever so slightly then from White, who's going to come under pressure ever so shortly from James Fabricius. Potter almost got the nose down the inside of Branscombe there. So bounce over the rumble strips. George Ralston goes very, very wide from 6th place and drops a few kart lengths off the back. In fact, he's probably closer now to Jack Collinson than what he was to behind him, to what he is to James Fabricius in front. Potter up and over the curbs once again on the inside. Branscombe holds on though, 0.2 of a second. This is your top 3. Personal best for Branscombe, personal best for White as well, both in the region of 49.6. The pace in this one, very, very intense. Most of the top 10 inside the 49s for their best times. There's Ayrton Wright off into retirement on the outside. Yellow flag out on the entry at Clinton's. Kart though is safe, and there's no need for the yellow flag to stay out any longer as Ayrton Wright parks that kart well out of the way. Two minutes and 45 seconds remaining. For Branscombe to hold on here from Thomas Potter, Clark and White. Fabricius right on the back of it as well. This is your top 5. Trophies in Honda Cadet, because of the depth of the grid, go down to 5th place. So this looks like it could be then, as Ayrton Wright takes the has a comfortable seat in that of our cameraman down there. On the outside of O'Rossi. Fastest lap of the race from Thomas Potter, 49.440, reeling in Ralphie Branscombe at the head of this race. 0.2 of a second now, 1 minute and 40 remaining. Now sends the move down the inside into Holmes. There's a little bit of contact between the two of them, and Branscombe urging Potter to think about it and try and move away from the chasing pack, but half of that is down to lead preservation as well. Enough of a gap there though for Branscombe that he doesn't have to defend that corner, although then he slides slightly wide with Potter in behind. Keeping an eye on that last lap board as the time at the top starts to go down. Potter once again down the inside of Branscombe into Holmes. This could allow Stanley Clark to get alongside, although they all shuffle back into an order, and Thomas Potter once again leads this race. Now Potter has a look over the shoulder. Branscombe down the inside into Alan Wones. That's going to allow the rest of the field to come through, and Stanley Clark inherits the lead here from Ralphie Branscombe and Jensen White, although now Clark's on the outside and everybody else is going to try and come through down the inside. White's up into third place, Fabricius in fourth, Potter down into fifth place. Fabricius to the inside of Jensen White as they head towards Shoemakers for what will be the penultimate time. Caught that in the background there. Looked like Potter went up in the air as he rejoined the track where the concrete finish and the grass started. He's dropped off the back now of Jensen White. Stanley Clark, though, leading from Ralphie Branscombe round the right-hander. Last lap board will be out this time for Stanley Clark. Ralphie Branscombe in second, then it's Fabricius. It's the top five, nose to tail. Half a lap remaining for Stanley Clark. He's going to go defensive into this corner. Branscombe goes wide. He's going to try and get the cut back and get the better run, but I think he's going to find James Fabricius where he wants to be. Does. And now head towards Barney's for the final time. Clark's defensive. Branscombe's down the inside on Stanley Clark. That's going to open the door for James Fabricius, who's going to come through from third place to inherit the lead. The move from Branscombe down the inside. Fabricius sweeps through, and James Fabricius is going to come through and take victory in the final round of the Cadet Kart Championship from Ralphie Branscombe, Thomas Potter, Jensen White and Stanley Clark in P5. Then it's Collinson, Ralston in 7th, Lynn, Drake, Max Williams. Then we wait 3 or 4 seconds back for the rest of the field to come through. It's Price, Peacock, Wheatley, Sullivan, Lorne, Hayes, Gray Trex, Samuel, Ali and Sebastian Bierman to complete the top 20 in front of Tipping Hall, Stansmore, Wilson, Housego, Forrester, Lewis, Sims, Ezard and the retiree in Ayrton Rye.